This is a presentation that was originally put together and presented to the Springfield Fire Department a couple years ago in 2019 called Safety Stand Down. Specifically, we're talking about cancer in the fire service. Over the last couple years, I've made some changes to it, added to it, taken away from it, and I have some of my own thoughts. So some of the dates obviously are a little bit outdated, but the information is still current. Go ahead. So what we're going to talk about today is basically safety in the fire service, specifically as it relates to cancer. Safety Stand Down was an initiative that started in 2005. It's sort of a nationwide initiative basically geared at helping fire departments and fire personnel be more safe. Various issues have been covered over the years: cardiovascular health, line of duty deaths, apparatus safety, different healthy life habits, things like that. Today we're going to specifically talk about cancer and what it is. We're just going to jump right into it. What cancer is a collection of related abnormal cells. The cells divide without stopping. They spread all over the place. That means they're malignant. They can travel through various systems of the body, and they affect different people in different parts of the body, and they are caused by various different things. One of them being our job, basically the things we're exposed to. We're going to mention just briefly three cancer studies that are significant. One is the Lemasters study, who reviewed multiple studies and confirmed that fire service personnel indeed have higher rates of cancer than the general population. There's another study mentioned that was specifically talking about Hodgkin's lymphoma and bladder, kidneys, as well as brain. Basically, as the years of service go up, cancer mortality goes up, and the chances of getting cancer go up as well. And then, pardon me if I keep gesturing, I've got my 9-year-old son helping me with the PowerPoint. And then NIOSH, of course, had a study, and the primary concerns of focus were lung, esophageal, kidneys, testes, brain, intestines, bladder, stomach, rectum, and prostate. And basically, there's an increased risk for firefighters. And they looked at a couple of major cities to sort of determine their data. Pinpointing the exact cause of cancer is difficult because firefighters are not exposed to just one agent. We're exposed to carcinogens that we breathe, also through the skin, on fire scenes, even sometimes in the firehouse or in the rig room. Some cancer studies also note that firefighters are developing far more aggressive types of cancer, such as brain cancers at a younger age than the general population. Some objectives, I'm not going to read them all, but basically be aware of this stuff and take action to mitigate it. Here's just a little bit of information to dispel false notions. I've heard a number of things, crazy statistics about fire service personnel and the rates of cancer: 250 times greater than general population, 68% of firefighters contract cancer compared to 22% of the general population, or that firefighters are twice as likely to be diagnosed with cancer than everybody else. Those numbers are inflated, and now here are some of the real numbers. Firefighters have a 9% greater chance on contracting cancer than the general public, which is significant, and that matters, but it's not 68%. It's not 200% more. Firefighters have a 14% greater chance of dying from cancer than the general population, and firefighters have a significantly higher risk of contracting certain types of cancer: testicular, malignant mesothelioma, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, malignant melanoma, prostate and colon cancer, and leukemia. And the numbers there, I don't know if you can see them, but it's everywhere from 1.1 to 2.02 times more likely to contract than the general population. For anywhere from 10% more likely to twice as likely of those types of cancer. And this is sort of one of the main points of today: is dirty bunker gear is not a badge of honor. It's often, as you know, been seen as such, but It's just not. And we need to get past that. We need to get past our pride. And we need to realize that it's not a badge of honor. It's still rampant in my department and my volunteer department too, where if you're dirty, it seems like you're more of a tough firefighter or whatever. But it's not. This is not a badge of honor. This filthy helmet like that. I'm not sure if you can see it, but keeping PPE clean should be the goal. Toxicity in today's homes is one of the major causes of cancer, as I'm sure we all know by now. Basically, everything's plastic and synthetic, so it gives off way more carcinogens when it burns. We'll just skip that slide for now. Go ahead and just arrow to the next one, please. There you go. Safety stand down 2019. Oh yeah, I already said that. We're talking about lightweight construction poses potential risks to firefighters. We know about the collapse risks, but also there's all kinds of glues used in these lightweight materials that add more carcinogens to the air. This is just sort of a joke that people care about cancer, but a lot of times it's going unrecognized or answered from decision makers. I'm not going to read this huge thing to you, but it's the Illinois Workers' Compensation Act, subsection 6, which basically is kind of a good thing because it has some legal protections for us and healthcare expense coverage and things like that for certain cancers and cardiovascular disease for that matter. So we do have some protection. Of course, attorneys and insurance companies and municipalities and such could try to fight us, but at least we have some law and some science behind us if we were to get sick. Real quick, this is just a UV study. There's a couple of images, hopefully you'll be able to see, where they took a firefighter that was totally clean before putting on firefighter garments. Go ahead and go to the next one, bud. And you just kind of see it's UV light that shows the fluorescence in the skin, which shows what's on it. This is the decking out in turnout gear. And then basically this guy was put in a wind tunnel with some particulates in it. And then afterwards, these UV photos were taken, and you can see where there was infiltration in full gear, not even moving around, just airflow. Neck and hands and stomach were pretty bad. And then some of the worst, and this surprised me, was around the calves and lower legs. And this study's been repeated multiple times. And the theory is that our pants, our rig gear pants, act as like a what do you call it? Like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a bellows. That's right, a bellows system, where when we're moving around, the pant leg contracts and then opens and contracts and opens, and it moves air in and out. And that's get carcinogens in our pants. It's the last thing I would have thought would have been an unprotected area, but that's one reason that wearing long pants under bunker gear is better than just shorts. Remember that turnout gear is not a hazmat suit, all right? And chest, legs, waist, and wrists are common areas where carcinogens and pollutants can get onto our skin. This is just some skin absorption rates. The groin is very absorbent, and the jawline, forehead, scalp, back, forearms, palms, and ankles absorb toxins easily. It's just a little cartoon that shows the poisons all around us when we're firefighting. On-scene gross decon can eliminate 85% of the contaminants accumulated in firefighting. It's kind of annoying, but you're already wet, you're already sweaty, you're already gross. Just hose the gear down before getting in the rig. This is just a bunch of chemicals found in the overhaul phase. We're not going to read them all, but it's a bunch of stuff that gives you cancer. Again, I'm not going to read all the types of cancer and what causes them, but bladder, brain, colon, larynx, vocal cords, liver, leukemia, lymphatic, and hematopoietic cancers can be caused by a number of things that are all found in fires and in the overhaul process. Lung, mesothelioma, nasal cavity and sinuses, pharynx, skin, soft tissue. Those are all the various types of cancer that are common and the cancer-causing agents that are common in fires. We know about asbestos and how it causes lung problems, and it has for decades. There's not a lot of it around, but when we go to fires in old buildings, not related to necessarily the fire, but when we're in there and it's been stirred up and we're doing overhaul, if we don't have our SCBA on, we could be exposed to asbestos and have nothing to do with the products of combustion. I think you all know what mesothelioma is. We're probably going to skip some of these, but just know that benzene is colorless, it has a sweet odor, it's flammable, and it's in fires and in the smoke and the environment after a fire. Formaldehyde is also present. Let's see. Vinyl chloride is, of course, a carcinogen, and it's in all plastics, basically. Right? Polyvinyl chloride is PVC. Vinyl chloride is one of the products of combustion of that. It's in everything in your house, all the wires, a lot of furniture, pipes. Particulates, of course. Soot is a known carcinogen because it contains polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which there's an abbreviation we'll use for that going forward. Let's see, carbon monoxide, we all know about that. That's always in fires. Hopefully, most of our safety officers or somebody is monitoring CO levels and HCN levels after a fire, but if you're on our SCBA, it shouldn't be an issue. HCN is what I just mentioned, hydrogen cyanide. Sources of cyanide in fire would be wool, silk, cotton, paper, plastics, and other polymers. This is basically just the ppm, the rate that cyanide compounds can cause problems for us. I don't know if you've ever seen HCN measured after a fire, but being in the hundreds of ppm parts per million is pretty common, and that means it's dangerous in 30 minutes. Stays in your body for about an hour, or at least the half-life is about an hour, so it can stay in your body quite a while, and it's 30 times more toxic than carbon monoxide. We're gonna probably gonna skip that. So here's a little cartoon that says SCBA during overhaul is for pansies. Besides, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst that can happen is cancer and death. Putting your hood up over your face or putting a dust mask over your face isn't helpful in overhaul. We actually need to be on SCBA. I know there's a number of fires I've been on where I'm the only person in the house on my SCBA. Nobody gives me a hard time about it. They might in their minds or behind my back, but I promised my wife that I would always do that, and so I always do, and I don't want to get cancer. And so I would just encourage you all to do the same thing. It's just a little bit more work for 5 or 10 minutes, and we should be able to handle that. Again, this is about overhaul, just all the stuff that's in smoke. There's allergens, there's other irritants, and then of course all the chemical carcinogens are present. And this guy's just saying, why should I, oh wait, go ahead and go to the next slide, buddy. 2 more slides. Why should I wear an SCBA during overhaul? Cancer. So it was found that firefighters wearing full ensemble absorb PAHs, this is what I referred to earlier, that if they wore full ensembles, they absorb those into their bodies even when they have them on. And then also that these aromatic hydrocarbons can be inhaled or rubbed onto the skin after firefighters take their gear off. So we need to always be cleaning our gear afterwards and be careful when we're taking it off. So again, wear, according to NFPA, our complete rig gear ensemble for structure fires during the firefighting and during the overhaul. We should wear long hoods that are unlikely to come untucked, and this minimizes skin absorption. And to minimize inhalation, we should have our SCBA. And this says remove the SCBA and hood last when doffing gear. I think it's hard, but we can do that. We just need to be careful to try not to get the SCBA or to be around it at all times. Let's see. Wash hands immediately and shower as soon as possible after fire suppression. I always try to do it basically as soon as I get back. It's good to have wipes in the rig so you can wipe down neck, hands. You need to wash turnout gear every time basically you use it, and also once a year if you don't happen to use it. And then this slogan, go to the next one. Oh yeah, shower within the hour is the goal. I always try to do that as soon as I get back to the house. In the past, PPE didn't do a good job in fighting cancer and protecting firefighters, and the hope is that see, this is what it was like in the old days. Okay, so why would we do this today? We know that our gear's better now, so I'm hoping that the numbers of cancer rates are going to decrease because we have better gear now than we used to. And why do we allow this also? Somebody leaning over a dumpster, just breathing in the burning trash. Why do we allow that? And here's a scene, just some, I don't know if you can see it, but some folks fighting fires, car fires, structure fires, no SCBA. Where are the SCBAs? Why are we not just getting off the rigs with them every time there's a potential structure fire or other fire? For safe work habits, it requires us to change our behaviors, attitudes, and our cultures. We've all heard this before. Well, this is the way we've always done it. Well, if we as individuals make changes, that'll change the culture of the department. We're going to skip that. That's too much stuff. Here's some ways to prevent cancer before a fire: proper nutrition, exercise, having good physicals, and seeing a doctor regularly. And then when our body's in better shape, we can tolerate having our SCBA on better during overhaul, and our body's just healthier and better able to fight disease. During the fire, wear all PPE, do gross decon, use wipes. After the fire, try to keep contaminated gear out of the cab. We do not do that in our department. Some departments do a clean cab system, which I like. If it's really bad, I know we'll put it in a side compartment and then clean bunker gear immediately afterwards. We already talked about good nutrition. We need to obviously be exercising so that we're able to do our job effectively. I encourage, and the Fire Service Joint Labor Management Commission encourages regular fitness and medical checkups. We can reduce our risks of cancer by instituting the following changes in the fire service. Yearly physicals equal early detection, equal early treatment, equal better results. So not only is taking care of our bodies good at prevention, but if we're getting regular medical treatment and checkups, we can catch stuff earlier if we do get it. And so that's good for us. This is just a picture of the exhaust system. We could just call it the sucker. I encourage you to use that at all times. Earlier we saw that the groin area absorbs carcinogens at a high rate, and the rate of testicular cancer is very high. My personal theory is that some of this is because we leave our bunker gear with the pants pulled down and basically the crotch of the pants exposed to the rig room, and a lot of times we're putting the diesel fuel or the fumes in the air, and also our gear is off-gassing, and there's probably other carcinogens on the rig, and I think a lot of that ends up settling on the crotch of our pants, and I think that's part of why testicular cancer is so high. But we need to be careful about the exhaust. Wear full PPE at all times. Gross decon again. Wet naps or man wipes or whatever we want to do in the rig. Look, there's just some death coming off this guy's gear. We need to always be using the extractor. In Springfield, there's two available. And then here's the main takeaways, and we'll wrap it up. New construction and old construction contain hazardous contents and chemicals. Everything from the 60s on today is made of basically plastic. Chemical smoke is toxic. Proper PPE should be used for the duration of the whole call, including overhaul. Gross decon will reduce the accumulation of bad stuff. Properly decontaminating all PPE and tools on the rig after returning. Shower within the hour. Wear seat belts, an added safety tip, to and from calls. Eat well, exercise, and retire healthy. That's all I had. Hopefully it'll be encouraging to you and to your department. pray that we would just be safe and be wise with our lives and our careers.